Hello, believers, non-believers, and everyone in between. You're listening to Stories with Sapphire. I am Sapphire Sandalo. Now get cozy and open your mind because it's story time.
Hello! Happy Wednesday! Maayong Miyerkules. Is that how you say Wednesday in Cebuano? Welcome to Stories with Sapphire Live. How do I say welcome? Well, I know in Tagalog. Maligayang pagdating sa live stream. I'm Sapphire Sandalo, a cozy Sapphire. I'm trying to practice my Cebuano. I've been learning for a year and I am nowhere near fluent. So I'm like, okay, I need to start actually practicing like a lot. So if anyone in the chat nakasulti mo og Cebuano, pag-type para mo practice ko. And I'm so slow. Anyways, this is the live stream that I do every Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific. If this is your first time, welcome. And what was the other thing that I usually say? Oh, yes. So I read a couple emails and stories, and then at the very end, we pull a card and do a little collective reading for everyone in the chat. So that's how it goes. It's fun. Loosey-goosey. And what else? Oh, Adam, thank you for the super chat. Today's podcast begs to be animated. Amazing. Thank you. Yeah, so I know. I feel so bad every time anyone's like, this should be animated. And it's like, yeah, I know. I wish I could animate all of them. Here's the thing. I can't. And it sucks. The animated videos are my favorite ones to do, but right now, I am only making money from my podcast, so I had to focus on that and growing that. And my goal is to be able to be earning enough that I can hire help so that I can put animated videos out. But right now I can't, so that's why, that's why they have no original animations. It's not a interesting story. Anyways, any spooky news? Let's see. What are some spooky news? Did I see anything spooky recently? I watched Infinity Pool. That was kind of cool and weird. Crimes of the Future is hella weird. The podcast is so good. Yay, I'm glad you like the podcast. Thank you. Can you guys share it? So it grows. Please help. I need help. All right, what guys want to get into it? Let's see. All right, so I pulled up a story here. It's called "The Woman in My Dreams That Predicted My Future," which sounds very, very strange. Here we go. Hello, Sapphire. I'm Rylan. And recently there was a chain of dreams I had that shook me to my core. I'm still dealing with this so-called woman in my dreams even now, so I thought I'd share a little story about her. Earlier this year, I had a dream that was a little different from the usual dreams I'd have. I was sitting in some cafe with a woman in a blue dress in front of me. She wasn't scary. She was more beautiful than anything. The only thing that threw me off in this dream at first was the music. It sounded like jazz, elevator music, instrumentals, with pitched down human screams playing over it. I would have conversations with her, pretty basic for the first few nights I had the dream. But then it happened. I don't know why, but I had the impulse to get up from my chair one night, which led to her saying, "That's rude. I was talking to you. Don't you have any manners, Rylan?" In a stern voice that filled my head with noise. The dream faded to black. Oh my gosh, I just spit. But I didn't wake up. I knew I was asleep, but all I could see was black. I heard her whisper something along the lines of, Your grandmother will suffer a loss. And I finally woke up from my dream. The whispers weren't in my head. It felt like she was beside my unconscious body, whispering into my ear. It was like she was in the room with me. The dream stopped for a little while, but I was surprised when one of my grandma's kittens was lost about a week later. She devotes her life to taking care of her cats, and she took it very badly. The dreams resumed, starting as tame as they had before, but the same thing happened again. I got up, she scolded me with words like, "You're not supposed to leave yet," and it faded to black. This time, I heard her whisper something like, "Your life will soon fall into disarray." And that it did. My theater completion team began to argue more than usual. I began to have self-deprecating thoughts about myself. Sometimes I thought I was going insane, and sometimes I'd have a dream where I'd be sitting in the cafe with her, just sitting in front of me, watching me. It was only when I was on the phone with two of my friends and the topic of paranormal experiences came up that I mentioned her. But when I tried talking about the woman, I burst into uncontrollable sobs. That night, I sat up in my bed and pleaded for her to leave me alone, and an immediate aura of hatred and what I could only describe as overwhelming guilt, combined with whispers in my brain that filled it with grief, swirled around in my head until they overtook me, and I started crying again. The next day, I used whatever items I could to cleanse my home and prayed, which is very rare because I'm not religious at all. The dreams stopped, but when I was talking about the dreams with one of my friends, when he mentioned something strange that had happened to him, I started crying again. Even to this day, I burst into tears when I mention the woman. She may not be in my dreams anymore, but her presence is still in my life. Somehow, she's attached herself to me in a way. If you're able to read this, thank you so much. I've been listening to your podcasts and love your storytelling for a while, and I just thought I'd share a little something that spooked me a lot. Thank you. Okay, that is actually really spooky. So, let's see. I wonder if this woman is like a spirit guide of yours or something, and like that cafe is your like meeting ground. That's interesting. That's cool. Thank you, Rylan. Adam Lombardo, thanks for the super chat. How much do we have to pay you to animate it? A lot. I don't know. What about the other people that tell the stories? Girl was sabotaging you. All right. Okay. This is the story of my tita. I don't want to say her name since it's private, so just pick any name. My name is Soleil. I hope you can answer. Okay, here we go. My tita always had a third eye and dealt with it since she was young. Last year, she finally gave birth, but it was tough while she was pregnant since she had a third eye. But she didn't experience anything until her child was born. My tita was taking care of her son alone since her husband works overnight. While she was making her son go to sleep, she went in the bathroom and saw something on the top of her roof. Her house was still in construction, but her rooftop on her bathroom was green and clear, so you can see someone's shadow if you're on top of the roof. She saw a shadow on top of her roof, a human-like shadow, but it was making a very weird noise, an animal noise. She then felt a cold, shivering feeling pass by her. She went back to her bedroom and saw her son. He started crying, and my tita immediately called her father-in-law while holding her son and praying, "Our Father." Yeah, that prayer. She doesn't have Wi-Fi, so she needed data or load to call her father-in-law. She was trying to buy data on her contacts and finally called him. The next day, she told her husband, and it was just a normal day, until she went to her neighbor, and her neighbor told her, about a few days ago, her neighbor told her that there was something flying around her rooftop. That's all. We never found out what it was. My tita has become even more religious more and more every day. This story is real, and those things were either a manananggal or an aswang or just a manananggal. Ooh, okay, so it was swirling around when Tita was pregnant. Is that what was happening? Or had the child already been born? Either way, that's really creepy. Eee! That's so spooky. Thank you for sharing. Okay. I do have a theory. I have a theory that sometimes, well, I forget how long ago I saw it. Maybe a couple years ago, I saw this photo of one of those like giant, I believe they're fruit fox flying. They're called flying foxes, and they're very prominent in the Philippines. And it's literally just like a giant bat. And when I saw that picture, immediately in my mind, I was like, oh, I wonder if that is what people back in the day saw flying around. And they thought that was a manananggal because it kind of looks like a half person with the wings. So if you Google flying fox Philippines, you'll see it and you'll know what I mean. So who knows? Maybe it's that. Maybe flying foxes somehow can smell pregnant people, and maybe that's why they're always around when people are pregnant. Just a theory. I forgot to turn my other light on. Not that you can tell. I can tell. There it is. Adam, thank you for the super chat. What about a story where scammers harness the paranormal? Send 10,000 Bitcoin to make the banshee whales stop. That could be a really funny little parody video. Or it could be a cool like premise for a movie. Like, oh, that's cool. Flying foxes are cute. Yes, they are. Bats are so cute. They're sky puppies. Oh my god. Sky puppies. How do you say sky in Cebuano? Does anyone know? I forget. Sky. The ocean is dagat. Sky is... Oh, it's the word for heaven. Langit. Can someone tell me if I'm right or wrong? Langit. How do you say sky puppy? Iro. Bata iro nya langit. Sky puppy of... Or puppy of the sky. Amethyst negriti. Sorry, didn't mean to say dope. Does anyone know what kind of white spirit that just stares at you is called? Looks human, no features, clothes, or any indication of male or female. Just like a white... Huh? I don't know. If you're talking about I don't think you're talking about the Kune Kune, but that's the one in the story from this week. If you haven't listened to that story... one of the stories is up on YouTube right now, and then the full episode with another story is on the podcast that went live today. Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's do another one. This one's called The Tall Man. I don't like that. Langit, yes. Thank you, Queen Sundere. All right. Hello. First of all, your stories, they creep me out. LOL. This is a true story of a paranormal experience that happened. Ooh, okay, here we go. This is the story of who I like to call the Tall Man and the Owl Man. I was 11. For some reason, I remember this dream vividly. Too vividly, in fact. The dream cut to what seems like a flashback. There was 5-year-old me sitting on the bed with my grandpa. Grandpa, there's someone I need to warn you about, Ember. I looked at him confused. What is it, Grandpa? I asked. There's these people. One is tall, very tall, and the other is short. The thing about the short man is the fact that he has the body of a human, yet the face of an owl. If you see the owl man and he sees you, run. It doesn't matter where, just run. With that, the flashback faded, and I was currently walking with my mom. The streets were almost empty apart from a few people. I suddenly saw a very short man walk past me. I immediately remembered my grandpa's words and looked behind me, straight at him. Then he stood, the owl man with glowing yellow eyes. My mom grabbed my hand and started running. I looked around me to see the few people who were on the streets looking at me. With a deformed smile going from ear to ear, they were moving their index finger from left to right as if they were saying how I messed up and I was in trouble. Eventually, after running for what seemed like forever, my mom and I arrived at a party. There were a lot of people. I eventually got bored of walking around and went to my mom. "Hey, Mom, was that the owl?" "Stop!" My mom screamed in pure horror. "You'll only anger him more by speaking of him." She seemed terrified. "Okay, sorry. Well, can I go to the second floor?" I asked. "Fine, just be careful." There was this building ongoing construction next to our house. It was my uncle's. The first floor had its walls up and a few doors. The walls weren't painted, though. Like I said, ongoing construction. The second floor had the walls up halfway, like a railing made of bricks and cement. I liked going there to get my mind off of things. I went up the stairs and onto the second floor. It was peaceful. I looked around. My eyes fell at the end of the road. A tall man, as tall as the light posts. I immediately ran and hid behind a pillar. He was walking towards our garden gate front door. To get to where I am, you have to go through the gate and take a right towards the building. He suddenly turned around and sprinted towards the building I was in. He stopped at the corner, when suddenly he turned and looked at me. He was wearing a black cardigan with a black top hat. He had a wicked smile. His body and face seemed to be black too, and he had glowing white eyes. I ran towards the stairs, and as soon as I ran down, he came up behind me and hit my head with a hammer. Then I woke up. Oh, it was all just a dream. I went about my day as usual, and everything was normal until I went to the bathroom. You see, our bathroom had a small window. I looked through the window, and there he was, with the same menacing smile and glowing eyes. I immediately turned on my heel and ran out of there. I went and told my mom everything and begged her to call Grandpa. She didn't believe me, of course, but called Grandpa anyway. The next day, I went to Grandpa's house. It was 7 p.m., so it was pretty dark. Before I even started to tell him anything, he picked up on an evil spirit following me. He did a ritual and cast a spell on some oil. "Put this on every day," he said. And of course, I listened and put it on every day. After about a month, I stopped putting it on and the tall man disappeared. Everything was going well until last night I went to the bathroom and he was waiting for me. My name is Ember. I really hope you make a video or podcast on this. If you do, please send an email back. I'll be sure to watch it. Ooh. Ember, hope you're watching. Okay. That was cool. That was creepy. Okay, sorry, there was a couple of messages that I missed. Owlman, thank you, Adam, for the super chat. Owlman sounds like a rejected Marvel character or an accepted DC character. Isn't it, though? Isn't Owlman a thing? Am I making that up? Okay. We might have time for another shorty. That's not a shorty. Oof, should probably eat something, huh? I'm just thinking out loud now. Black cat? No. Okay, here's a short one. It's called The Black Cat. When I was younger, about 11 or 12, I got a little old black cat named Echo. Echo had no tail, only a nub. was broken in an accident. One night, Echo got in the basement. Cats are not allowed in the basement, so I went down to get her when something flew past my head and back up the basement steps. I caught a glimpse of it. It seemed like my cat, so assuming it was, I began to go back up when I heard my cat behind me. Then I realized that the cat had a tail. My cat does not have a tail. I raced upstairs, forgetting my cat in the basement, and found my mom in the kitchen. She told me she saw Echo run past when I told her that wasn't Echo. Echo's in the basement. My mom brushed it off until we started seeing the cat everywhere, around corners, running past us. Finally, my mom decided to talk to a psychic. The psychic told my mom it was a cat named Snoopy, an old cat my mom had until it was hit by a car. The psychic explained to my mom that sometimes old pets come to visit us, be it physically or in dreams. Since my mom talked to the psychic, we haven't really seen Snoopy at all. And of course, that was years ago. But it's still kind of creepy how we were visited by the spirit of a dead cat. That's kind of sweet. That's not creepy. Oh, I love pet stories. Thank you for sending that. There was no name. All right, y'all. Moon owls are beautiful. What's a moon owl? Oh, it is a DC character. Oh my god, that's amazing. Owlman is like an off-brand Batman, basically. Oh, okay. That's kind of funny. All right, everyone. It's time for our reading. So everybody take a deep breath. And we're gonna they got a free ghost cat. I know, isn't that cool? Ghost cat. I've heard a lot of stories of people seeing ghost cats. And I've had an experience with my doggy who died and he showed up. I could hear his little nails. That was cool. To this day, man, I need to stop being such a wuss. Every time like something happens, I get so scared and I don't want to investigate. But I'm like, damn, I wish I like looked over the bed to see if I could like actually see Zisu. You know what I mean? Because that would have been tight. Because seen a ghost dog. All right, y'all. 10. I heard 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Aww. We got the moth. I love the moth. This is specifically a Luna moth. Looks like a little fairy. Beautiful. I love moths. They're so cool. They're night butterflies. And they're the symbol of Dalikmata, who is like one of my favorite Filipino deities. I think she's the first deity that ever reached out to me. So she has a special place in my heart. If you are familiar with Visayan deities, she's the one with like eyes all over her body, and my tattoo, my batok is eyes. Moth. Here we go. Impulsive, hasty, wishful. The moth is sure the grass is greener on the other side. Moth energy is at play when we're attracted to easy solutions or anything shiny and new. This can lead to unfinished projects, disappointment, or burnout. It's helpful to remind moth personalities that life is complex. No matter the illusion, no one is exempt from the trials and tribulations of this great journey. Practice seeing life as an infinite mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different. When in balance, enthusiastic, whimsical. When out of balance, idealizes others, jittery. To bring into balance, finish a project. Well, does that resonate with anyone? That kind of resonates with me. I feel like the cards usually do. Probably because I'm the one picking it. Yay. All right, y'all. Ooh, I definitely need to eat something. It rained today in LA. Is anyone in the chat in LA? it was really random, but like so needed. I was like, oh my gosh, because it's been hot, hot, hot the last couple of weeks. Thank you, global warming and corporations that don't want to do shit about it. All right, y'all. That was the live stream. I do this every Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific. Oh, next week I'm going to be going live with my friend Ranny Agogo. She is an initiated priestess. She's amazing. She's so knowledgeable, so sweet, so cool. And so if you have any questions, she has like a million cool stories to share. I think maybe I'll do a post and I'll ask for questions, but you can just show up live and then like, oh my God, ask her questions. So I hope you hang out. Bye everyone. Have a good rest of your week.